All right.
Just let
Well,
me fix my cam. So, how has it been? How was your morning today?
incredible, incredible. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, as we always say. Uh, Looking for the bounce here off the pink box. This is like the bounce level that must hold, in my opinion. Otherwise, we're going much lower, 104, if we lose this. So this is like must hold territory right now. I was just waiting for like some confirmation. Looks like we're getting a little bit of exhaustion on our oscillator, but nothing significant yet. Okay. However, this morning we took the long. Uh, I, I got long down in here off the SFP. I literally got long at 106,259. I don't know. You need a microscope to see this. 106,259.
Holy shit.
I got long right here. So yeah, that was a nice one. I'm currently short as well. I'm short naturally, OC, but I am short as well. Here it is. Look, 106,259, $400
Nice.
trade. Happy days. Just an SFP. So Jerome Powell opened his mouth today with a whole bunch of other, lizard people. I think the EU people and all that. We won't go into conspiracy theories just yet. But yeah, this morning it was good. What I was looking for this SFP for a number of reasons. So we are clearly in a downtrend. Okay. We have that marked out coming down in here. Okay. And the market, I start trading around here and we start to roll over this morning. Okay. However, we do have bullish divergence in here. Okay. Clipping bullish divergence even. However, this was a significant low. What was this low, right? We always got to go and look left confluence. So look at this low over here. We shoot that across, right? And we can see that we SFP'd that low, right? We have taken the low, which is a good sign of liquidity grab, right? We've grabbed liquidity in here. So what's everybody doing in here? They are longing, okay? What are they going to do when people are longing? They're going to wreck them, right? So as price pushed up, now we did on the live stream give the long from here. So you could have taken this long here. Was a really nice continuation candle. And you can see that, even your oscillator flipped green here. But you can see that candle close here was quite nice. And I said, oh, we could have bought that. I was making coffee, so I didn't take it. And it pushed up exactly to our trend line. Okay, then market opens. And guess what they did? They dumped it on everyone's head. They SFP'd the low, which is all the liquidity from people going long here. So I bought. And for me, it was a very cheap trade, right? Why is it a cheap trade? Because yes, I'm putting the same amount of position size on, but if I am wrong, my stop loss is very tight. It's not, like this. It's very tight. Because if we start rolling over, I'm wrong. I know that. So I took this long all the way up, TP1, TP2, orb, and then TP3 as we started to close up here. Okay, and that was a nice little trade this morning. Then I took the short from here. Like, why did you short it? It's moving to the moon here. We have another SFP. Another SFP. If you go over here on like a 12-minute time frame, what is this, guys? An SFP. What are we in? A downtrend. A failure to break above the high. Major resistance here too. Okay, big red box. Big volume level. Resistance, okay? So we know we're coming into resistance. We fail to push. We get rejected. I go off of basically off of this. As soon as this candle closed red in here, and then it started to close down, I went short. Okay. Yes, we did have VWAP and the orb in front of us, but this was like a clear rejection in my opinion. Failure to push through. SFP, rotation down. TP1, TP2. I'm still in the trade, letting it ride now. 75% out. Okay. And that is which one? Currently open right now. Up $150. I didn't go as heavy as this one. And that's the one I'm currently in right now. Okay. Short from up there. Up $150. 35 unrealized. Looking for continuation down. Stop loss at the lows here. Free trade now. Free trade, free money. We all love those trades, right? So we just sit on it and let it run. Okay, so I'm currently still in this. Now we are entering a bounce level. And we have multiple bounce levels on the way down here. Let's go over it. Okay. I feel like it's Canada Day, so you guys should all wish me happy Canada Day and say thank you for all your maple syrup. And thank you for showing us how to scalp like Alexo Crypto. Okay. That's the one. So losing orb, rolling over, bearish, right? Jerome Powell speaking as well. Big rollover. So how low can we go? Well, we have a couple stops along the way. I would consider this a stop as well. 1045. Okay. The lows in here to be taken. But right now we are in this major make or break zone. If we get acceptance below here, you can see I have red lines here. You see the red lines? This represents volume. Okay, this is a range. This is a range. You have to go really low for the next one. Okay. But these represent ranges. So if you do lose this area here, which it does appear that we are, you would be looking to rotate to the bottom of the range, which is around 1035. Ew. Okay. Happy maple syrup scalping day. Thank you. That's the one. Okay. So now we look to hold here. Why? Why, Alex? Because if we look here at this range, let me just close all this in here. What do we see? Volume, baby. So we are now revisiting this volume node right now. And we have this as our range, right? So if we fail to bounce here, we are definitely looking to come into the liquidity in here. Okay. All things point to July 9th and July 10th. Do you know what's on July 10th, OC, with July 9th?
No, what's going on over those dates?
The tariff days are done. That's when the tariff 90 days, the trading deal has to be done. No extensions. And we have a bullish moon right here.
Nice.
We are currently getting a good, really good bear moon right now, man. Calling the top, rolling over. So, but over here on the 10th, we get the bull moon. Anyways, I'm looking at July 9th. Now we did have our quarterly, is it half a year, right? So we have our monthly close which is a nice doji candle at the top, but still bullish, right? So for me, I would expect some sort of retracement and then a push and continuation. Okay. We'll see if we get it, but we'll have to wait and find out. Julys are typically bullish in a bull market. So we'll see.
If you take a look at the historical setups from since 2015, every single time that we have this bullish month close, there is a 66% chance that we have a next 3 months closing in bearish. And
it can close bearish then.
But I mean, things are lining up. I don't know. Things are lining up. I would say it. I think this might be a little bit different. In fact, it's just a 66%. It's not that big of a deal. It's almost half of it. So we still need to wait for what's going to happen. Yeah, that's what we were talking about today with Piper. It is just kind of like a 50-50, like a coin there. So happy Canada Day, my friend.
Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you for maple syrup, Nickelback, and gold ETF.
That's it, man. What about basketball? We invented basketball.
Really?
Did you know that?
No, I didn't. Yeah. What about hockey? Did you guys also invented hockey?
I'm not sure if we invented, but we're the best.
Love it. All right.
We invented peanut butter as well.
Oh, really?
The radio.
The radio? Oh, man.
IMAX theater.
IMAX?
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, got it.
Insulin. Did you know insulin?
I didn't know about insulin. Really?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
And the pacemaker for your heart.
Oh, wow. All right, so everything that sugars does would make
you're
us
a nerd. Electron microscope as well. We invented the electron microscope as well.
Holy shit. The only thing that I know of that we invented are jalapenos and TV at color TV.
That's awesome.
Oh, but I'm really happy, man. That's awesome. I didn't know that you guys invented that much things. That's awesome. All right. The greatest thing ever that you guys invented is sitting right here next to me.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Crazy Canadian.
So I'm actually looking at your same pink box, my friend. Nonetheless, for me, it is a 4-hour dynamic reactor. I do have another trend line that goes all the way down here, and I'm looking for a possible entry if we have the flip of the ribbon or within that area. Hopefully, we are able to bounce up there. If not, I mean, I know I'm just doubling on what you mentioned. Your analysis is very, my analysis is very, very close to yours. And for the next possible bounce, I'm looking again, same area that you're looking into, 104. But mine, it's somewhere around 104,400, 104,00, depending on how many candles it takes to get there. If I bring up the rest of my indicators, there we go. We have a money flow POC right here, which is also within this trend line. We also have the previous weekly low. In fact, we are hitting right now previous weekly low and the dynamic reactor. If I still keep bringing my indicators in here, we have a big area of support. These two chunks in here, they usually are for ranges. So coming down to this area means, or for me, says that maybe we could be ranging for a little bit before we either burst to the upside or burst to the downside. So how could we know? We first need to get to these areas before analyzing how is that flat pause it's going to be reacting. Is it going to be bullish? Is it going to be bearish? Are we still below dynamic reactor? Are we breaking above dynamic reactor? Or are we below the zero line, above the zero line? And that will dictate the most likely scenario for this upcoming range. But so far, before I call out the range, because I don't think quite yet that we're going to have that, I believe that we're gonna have a big week like this one. Not sure. Hopefully we do. Or if it's not a big week like this one, at least a fast movement to the upside back into previous highs. So another V-shaped recovery as we had in here, but smaller right there. That's what I'm thinking that we might be having it, and because so far I do see a couple of bullish sentiment in the people. I do see that fear and greed index is not pushing greed, although this is a great opportunity to start, liquidating all of the bullish, all of the bulls in the market, all of the paper hands in here, but we're hitting big support. So far what I'm going to be saying is just holding out this zone. I'm going to be looking for the flip of the ribbon for my next possible entry, and if we are nailing that flip of the ribbon, well, happy days. I think we're going to get back at 110 for the target, the same target that we had looked out in the past. Stock scalping samurai, what's up, my friend? Says Alex. Oh, OC. I imagine the open price is tied to the price action by an invisible thread that swings like pendulum on an old grandfather clock. Oh, holy sheesh, that's amazing. Man, you're making me trip. That's cool. The harder it swing it's one direction it will swing to the other direction. Oh yeah, absolutely. Use the indicators to locate the price exhaustion and buy in the opposite direction as opposite to jump. Oh, absolutely, man. I also see it. I've never saw it that way, to be honest, but I actually think this the same thing that you do. Let me give you what I usually explain in there. Let's use, for example, this trend line. So every single time that we hit the trend line, we get rejection, right? And if we hit it immediately, the rejection is gonna get bigger, right? But here, look at that, it got bigger, right? Until we make that swing. So we have the same kind of like a pendulum that you were talking about, right? It pendles up and down. So we have a big push, we have a big drawdown. So I think I love your analysis there. I think it's very nice. And yeah, I also think so. Let's bring up a couple of other stuff. Let me go to a cleaner chart. Let's go to this one and let's zoom out for a little bit because we're still within the same area or the same range that we've been talking about, right? Yes, we have the V-shaped recovery. We almost hit my next entry point in here. I did enter right back as we were coming back into the 100, somewhere around here. I rebought. It's time for me to maybe update this box, but I'm gonna just leave it as is for now. And so far, we are at the middle, at the center of the range. So nothing has really changed, to be honest, right? I mean, if we look back at what's going on, I think as long as we don't lose once again the 103, the 100, and we bounce down from there, I think that we're still safe. Is it gonna be painful to get back at 100K? Yep. But if you've been buying at 100K and selling at 108, 110, I think you'll be pretty happy so far because 100K, well, 110, 100K, almost 110, 19, right? 100K, 18, right? So it's been a very nice range, to be honest, right? Made a lot of trades in here. Nonetheless, what would be the best case scenario, right? I think we need to visit what we talked about yesterday. The best case scenario will be just going back and, hitting the 200K. I don't think that that's going to happen. What I do believe is that we're going to be having something like this, but in here, so a little bit more of that range before we start pushing upwards. This will absolutely depend on the macro economy. So tariff tweets, and I would say upcoming elections. It's not because the elections are right now acting upon the results in Bitcoin, right? I mean, but we have seen a preparation for re-elections on the United States. Like, for example, the big, beautiful bill, right? Which led to the fight with, the fight between Elon Musk and the president of Donald Trump, president of the United States, right? And I think that might be bringing up a lot of instability at this point. I mean, guys, I think if we take a look at Tesla, TSLA, let's go on all, not crypto. There we go. We can see a massive dump. And that is because of the most recent tweets that we have seen, right? That Elon Musk, it is the human with most, what is it, with most support from the states, right? On governmental, what is it, subsidiary programs. So just dumping. I mean, right now we're seeing that. I don't think that Tesla is going to plumb from here. I think it is creating a triangle, right? I believe that we're going to have a flip of the ribbon, maybe a fake out, and then come back up, and then we will have to regenerate this triangle. But so far, it's just like everything else, right? A fundamental makes the price move, and then what it's happening within industry makes the chart stable where it's supposed to be, right? So far, I would say it is time to wait on the 4 hours and for Bitcoin. And if you want to catch some nice trade, in the meantime, I think lower time frames are the way to go because we do have that volatility, right? So if you can trade the lower time frames, I think there's a great chance to do so. And since I'm not a big lower time frame trader, let's go and take a look at how would I be migrating for 4 hours to, I don't know, the 5 minutes, right? And that is easy peasy lemon squeezy. I'll just draw trend lines. That's it, right? Trend lines and look for breakouts. So basically I look for inner structure, trend line, breakout, retest, right? And off we go. Trend line, oh, come on, that's not a trend line. Trend line like this is very steep. Come on, why I cannot draw a trend line? There it is. All right, finally. Trend line, what I'm going to be looking for is some kind of structure in here, right? Or any kind of breakout retest and then breaking previous highs. And that's going to be my next possible entry. But as long as I don't have a breakout or a bottoming pattern, I'm not going to be jumping in with any trades. Also, the next thing that you can do is go watch Alex Out Crypto in his live stream. He goes all out there, and I think that's amazing what he does on his live stream. Another thing that I'm going to be pulling up are going to be predictive ranges. Something important, it is when we lose one of those predictive ranges, right? When the purple line is broken, we usually go and visit the blue line. We haven't just now. So I might be thinking maybe one sweep of the lows in this area right here. So keep an eye on that because look at that. Purple and then hit the blue line, right? Purple, oh well, and then did not hit the blue line we created. So we went past through. So that wasn't it. Purple, right away, blue line. Purple, blue line, right? Purple, right away, blue line. Well, in this case, in lower time frames, they're very actually matching one to another. But in higher time frames, they tend to have a little bit more shiftment between those two. Nonetheless, I think this is a good idea to look at to predict direction. And yeah, I mean, that's what I'm looking for. Maybe right here, another retracement, a double bottom before we go onto the next possible rally or V-shaped recovery. So that's what I got so far. Alex, are you looking at anything else? I am looking at Ethereum. It's coming back down to area of entry right now. Litecoin is
that
also
XRP trade.
My XRP trade or the XRP trade?
The XRP trade. Did you close it?
I did close it. I did.
You're rich now. So what? I gotta buy you something because you're rich.
No, come on. It was let me show you. I mean, I closed it earlier. In fact, you mentioned yesterday short, right? Or yesterday long?
Yesterday long.
Oh, that was a good one too.
I had a tickle.
Nice. Let me bring it up here. You called out the long. That was a very nice long. I was still basically holding my long entry from here. So you called out this beautiful long. And throughout the class yesterday, I said, you know what? When we get here, I'm going to be shorting. I said I'm going to be waiting for a little bit more before we close the class.
Did
And
you short?
as yes, I shorted, and I
Yeah,
closed
let's
it.
go.
Yeah, right here on this candle, I was like, I chickened out. I chickened out and closed it out. I mean, it was a pretty good one. Yeah, man. Look at that volatility. Come on. I didn't chicken
Crazy,
out.
man.
Yeah, crazy. Pump dump. Pump and dump. So, on XRP, what I'm thinking, it is that more ranging at this point. I think that we're gonna hold. Well, if we hold above the zero line, which I believe that we're going to, we're just gonna range up, and then maybe at the end of the week, maybe hit once again shorting zones. But at this point, I don't think that we're gonna hold it, and we're gonna break it, and that's because of the ATF.
Nice.
Yeah, we already have liquidated everyone that bought in, so second chance, second chance. So yeah, that was that's how it went on XRP yesterday. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah, for sure. Just to answer, I'm gonna answer, um, Orizola, I believe it is. I don't know if I said that right, but you'll forgive me. Okay, so it's asking about taking profits, right? What what I tend to do is a bunch of things when I'm taking profits and scalping. Okay, so uh, one thing for certain is you have to understand where you're at and what you're looking for, right? So like you guys know, I went long here, I exited up here, I went short here, I exited here, and I exited here, and I'm still 75%. I'm still 25% in this trade. Stop losses at these lows. Okay. But you must understand one, the way I trade and why I trade, right? So for me, getting in here, stop loss really tight, just below the low. Okay. I'm looking for a recovery back up to VWAP. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So we see VWAP in here, recovery, V-shaped recovery, SFP of the low. So I'm taking profit pretty early, typically about 25% to 50%, depending on how fast it moves. Okay. And then I'm putting my stop loss to entry. Okay. Negating the fact of losing money because I'm scalping. Remember the way I'm trading. Then I'm counter trading myself as a scalper. Okay. So for me, this is definitely going to be my first major TP where I'll take 50% out and I'll let the rest ride. Because if I'm a scalper, I'm looking for a VWAP slap and a rejection. Okay. I'm in a downtrend. Okay. So I must understand the context of the situation. I should be looking for shorts in here. Okay. What up, Reggie? So when we're in a downtrend and we're taking longs, I'm not looking for the Valhalla trade. I'm looking for the retracement trade. If I'm getting short, I can let this puppy run a bit more. Okay. What a bounce off that pink box. I'm going to be upset that I didn't long here, man. Now I'm just looking for a higher low continuation trade. Okay. So it's the situation. I had resistance levels in here as well. Okay. I had a key resistance in here, but I know there's going to be turbulence up at this high naturally. Okay. I have a big resistance level in here and a volume resistance. So this is pretty much the full TP, right? This is the trade sniper entry, but never mind the entry. It's how much am I looking? And I'm typically looking for a 1% move. Okay. My setup is typically 1%. That's a full trade setup right there. 1% risking 0.3%. Okay. That's my full trade setup. That's how I set it up every time. So for me, this is a full move when I'm trading. Okay. Now, in the opposite direction, I'm doing the same thing. I'm counter trading myself. So I got short here, stop loss above the high, looking for the same thing on the way down, right? Where's my resistance? Well, we got VWAP right here coming through. So that's TP1, 25%. Then we have fair value gaps all the way up. That's TP2. Or in my case, I took TP2 at the lows. Okay, TP2 and letting the rest ride. Okay. And that's how I typically do it. Now, it's always about counter trading yourself. Where's price going? What am I looking for? So if I was to get long here, right? Let's say I get long here. There's my setup. Now I'm looking to take profits along the way. What's my first level of resistance? Right? Well, it's going to be these lows. Then it's going to probably be these lows. Okay, so I have areas on the way up that I'm looking to take profits. I'm also going to have targets, right? So targets are going to be things like order blocks, money flow point of control, okay, VWAP. So I'm trying to imagine that I'm going long. Where is everybody going to short me? Where are they trying to short me so that I can front run that area? Okay? Because I don't want to come up into an area where it taps it and then it goes against me and then I never take profit. I want to front run that area before it gets hit so I get filled, and then it can retrace and continue. Okay? Just like in here, I took profit. We had the high here, right? I took profit at 106,950. Why? And I said this on the live. Why did I take profit at 106,950, everybody? Do you know why? I knew that we had a high coming up for as resistance. I knew that we had a sell wall up in here. And 107,000 is a psychological level. Okay? So I'm going to front run that level. Okay? And that's going to allow me to get filled and make more money. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm always counter trading myself. I'm always looking, ahead. Where am I looking for a short here, right? If I'm looking for a short for continuation down here, my main level I'm looking to short is right here. Come on, baby. We got orb, retest, continuation down trade, right? We are in a downtrend. So if I'm getting along here, I sure as hell better pay myself here. Okay? So that's how I'm always kind of setting myself up and preparing for the next trade, but also preparing to take profits along the way on my trades. And it will differ depending on the time frame that you do trade. Right? For me, I'm a short-term time trader, so you may have more time within your trades. Maybe you're a swing trader and you got short from the highs and you have like a big old OC trade set up like this, right? And then you'd probably be like TP1 early, right? And maybe that's retesting these highs in here, right? And then you got the lows, and then you got, TP3 down here, right? It may be set up different, but you have time on your side with this move, okay? Just like if you're trading along here, right? You'll have targets from your looking left confluence, right? So if this stuff isn't here, you're going to use the price action. You're getting long in here, right? This is your bottom. You're getting long in here. Looking to target the highs of the range, right? You're going to use your tools here. Okay, order block here. So I might want to take profit here, right? Money flow point of control, that might be my first one, right? So and then you press play and you see how well this works out. Obviously, we know it works out, but price comes down, bang, you're in, right? TP1, okay? See how it drops below? TP2 just hit. Then it takes forever to get to TP3. But you can see why you want to plan your trade like that, right? Because you can see in here, if I go back and I stop this, you can see that TP1 got filled, money flow point of control, but it took a while for them to get to TP2. So I probably would have want to front run that order block, right? Otherwise, you're waiting all this time to hit TP2. Okay? And obviously TP3 eventually gets hit. So using your tools and really maximizing your trading strategy in that sense is going to help you so much. And it all depends on your style of trading too, right? Like today, very news-driven day, right? We have liquidity below us. This is a bounce level. We have another bounce level below us all the way down, right? Looking for this to hold. If this fails to hold, well, we know where we're coming, right? The liquidity below us, right? I would say this is our first stop right here. Right? You can turn on your oscillator tools and you can go into your higher term time frames and you can see that there's probably liquidity down here, right? Fair value gaps, you name it. But you typically have liquidity in the lows that you're looking to recover. What goes up must come down, right? So I'd be looking in this area too for a potential bounce. We're just looking for price to bounce out of these areas every time. So when price comes in, you want to see a low, a equal low, a higher low, another low. It doesn't really matter if it's an SFP. Doesn't matter if it's a higher low. So if you get this, right, at your key level, you're just looking for a higher low, an equal low, or a lower low, a mitigation of the high, and a higher low. This is your change in character. You either long here or you long here. That is a confirmation of a reversal. Okay? You go into the lows. Let's go and look. This is why I always tell you guys, go and look at bottoming structure. Right? You get a low, you get an SFP, you get a higher low, you get a retrace and continuation out. You either get long here or you get long here. It looks easy. It's not easy when it's live. I'll tell you that much. Right? Because sometimes it does this. That's why you want to trade with the trend. Because until you get a confirmation, until this high here is taken, you have the risk of it dumping on your ass. Okay? If you do not take this high and close above it and then look for your higher low, you can get absolutely destroyed. Okay? Even in here, it fakes you out. Okay? You get a low, a higher high, a retracement that doesn't stop. Okay? That's why trend is your friend. That's why it's safer to wait for that break and change in character. That's why it's better to wait for the break here than take this one here. Okay? Because if you don't have that confirmation of a change in character, meaning a higher high, a higher low, followed by another higher low, breaking a higher high, market structure, you're going to end up getting wrecked, right? So yes, I am looking for a long in here. Am I jumping in now? Now? No chance, right? I have a higher low right now. If this pushes up here and it breaks this high, then I will be considering longing. And it could be something like this. But it's this that tells me. And you have your tools here, market structure here. Does it say long anywhere in here? Does it say green? No. Okay. 1 minute. I mean, you can pick this apart however you want. You got a 1 minute change in character right now. So you could be looking for a higher low. Okay. but you're risking it. You're risking it with a 1 minute time frame. Okay, you should typically be confirming market structure if you're new on a 15-minute time frame. Okay, hopefully that helps you. What do you think, OC? Mr. Reversal Superstar?
Not
I
much, I
shorted
think.
XRP.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was a, well, I wouldn't say a lucky thing, but it was definitely a last minute call because I was not planning to take it, to be honest. But then I did, and it actually played out very nicely. I did chicken out, but I mean, it was a pretty good earnings. Although it was a 1/4 of an entry, but still, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. Other than that, I think you're spot on, man. You basically have done a masterclass right now on taking profits. Another thing that I do is just look for just confluence and do TP1, TP2, TP3, and then I do have some room from trailing. So the trailing is kind of like just my last try to catch the top of the movement, right? And that is just in case that we are on a very big push to the upside, which recently we haven't had much of those because we're ranging, right? But most likely, if we break the range to the outside, we're gonna be having those. So consider learning about trailing. I think that is a fantastic way to maximize your profits, but only, or I only use it at the end of my strategy, or my taking profits. TP1, TP2, and trailing if I believe that there's a hole above us, or TP1, TP2, TP3, and then trailing if I just don't see a hole above us. Let me show you really quickly what I mean by hole. All right, I'm streaming right now. Let's go, for example, right. Let me see. Let me pick one in here. All right. So, for example, in this area, right? So right here, I guarantee you that we have some previous highs, right? So something around those areas. So if I'm having, for example, if I'm going breakout retest my entry, TP1 will be here, TP2 will be here, and maybe TP3 will be right here. And then after, look at, there's a hole. There's nothing above here, right? Hey, Reggie, I do remember that, man. That was fantastic. That's when we did a Team Fall Hat contest, man. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. So, all right, going back to what I was mentioning, it was, all right, so if I have TP1, TP2, and TP3, if I can see those TP3s, I program for taking half of what there's in, another half of what there's in, another half what is in. And usually this is where it gets tricky. If I have a full position right now, I can do the trailing. If I have a quarter of a position, I can absolutely not do trailing because it's just gonna be too little that I don't think that it's worth it just to trail it. but if I have a full position, whatever I still have, I'm gonna try to trail it with the very previous cycle. So basically this is gonna be my trailing position, right? As the price goes here or goes up, this one also goes up, right? As it goes up, it also goes up. So as it goes up, it also goes up. So when it start going, the price action start pushing upwards. So it's doing something like that, right? So it's pushing upwards with it. When the price action, oh, come on, when the price action retraces, this is when it's going to be taking profits. So that's basically what I would just add to taking profits, maybe for the strategy. And yeah, I think that would be it. So at this point, let's see, I think that we're having a bounce already on the area that we both were looking into. Or we're back basically the same things. Yeah, just this little small position. I'm still waiting on the 4 hours for the flip of the ribbon. Maybe I'll be from running it on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, we might have a little bit more structure here. And let's wait for my oscillator. So there it is. Look at the oscillator compression, right? The oscillator compression, we're basically at the bottom, almost at the bottom, trying to make its best effort to get down there, right? So usually, when I see that, let's see what happens. We do have a movement to the upside, right? After that, whatever needs to happen. So we're still below the zero line, right? But I think this movement is imminent. So whatever needs to happen, if we bounce off that dynamic reactor, we bounce off the zero line, that will be a continuation downwards. But based on things I'm seeing all around, I think that we're going to have a breakthrough dynamic reactor and continuation upwards. But so far, for me, it's time to wait. We have an indecision candle. If the next candle is bullish, that will have a confirmation by a engulfing candle, doji, and then maybe another engulfing. That will be a reversal pattern for me, and especially if we're having that flip of the ribbon. But yeah, so far looking for a possible entry in Bitcoin, looking for a possible entry in Ethereum, and looking for a possible entry on LTC. That's what I got.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, around the altcoins, I think I have a couple of areas that I'm looking at for some coins if you guys want. Nothing like major, but I am looking for a virtual long right now. It hasn't confirmed yet, so coming down here, a little bit lower than expected actually, so probably even better entry now. But in this area, looking generally around 145, looking for a bounce and continuation. Right now we are dumping on Bitcoin, so like wait for confirmation on Bitcoin, then look to take something like this. Your next level is 138 down below, so a little bit of patience, okay? Depends on what Bitcoin wants to do. Okay, so possible bounce on virtual. Keep that in mind. Injective, down to a key level here. This is the same level where I took a long back in here. Okay, 1030. That's where I'm looking right now for injective to hold and possibly push back. AVAX, I believe I'm looking, right here as well. So we have come back and retraced a little bit lower than expected as well. We'll see if AVAX can hold the lows in here. That would be ideal. Otherwise, you're coming back down into here. And then I was also looking at, what did they request? Was it Ondo? No, it was it Jasmy? Jasmy? 1.2 cents area. Okay, looking for that as well. Okay, so a lot of areas just we're coming down. Solana, buy the rumor, sell the news, coming back and retesting these highs as well. So literally need to see Bitcoin bounce, and then we can look to rotate into alts. Okay, that's how I would treat it right now. Just a little bit of patience will prevail. Don't get overexposed to this market right now, especially with all the uncertainty and liquidity below us, right? That's it. Like Bitcoin's in a make or break spot. Will it hold? We don't know, right? We're not supposed to know. We're supposed to participate safely. And right now, getting long is not necessarily the best choice, in my opinion. We want confirmation of a potential reversal, and if we get that, then we can long. Until then, we wait. Trading is waiting. Okay, so I think that's enough out of us today, OC. We kicked ass, take names, crushing the trades, teaching the lessons. Hopefully, you guys are all enjoying the alpha from OC and my little 2 cents. But
absolutely. So, guys, thank you so much, and as always, see you guys tomorrow.